旗之上仰望的人会看透风尘，在这山河彼附的城，我与你共存。
It's Cloudy. How are you all? Today we are reviewing Princess Agents, which is a Chinese historical drama that just finished last week. And I'm so angry with what happened. Oh my goodness. This drama is given an 8.5 out of 10 on my drama list, and 94% of audiences who voted said this TV show was great. However, I have some issues with the plot development, some issues with character development, and a lot of issues with how Princess Agents concluded this 2017. Princess Agents is a drama that follows Zenelia Zhao, Lin Gengxin, Shan Dou, and Li Qian, which started on June 5th and ended a few days ago last week. It was subbed on the official channel. It's really interesting because when the story starts, it takes place in the Northern Wei. Things are chaotic, things are crazy. Innocent citizens are kidnapped and turned into slaves. Slaves are beaten brutally by the royals, and royals don't really give a crap what's happening in their kingdom because they're paranoid and suspicious. When my friend got me into this series, she told me there is a big struggle between the peasants and the nobles, and there is a really horrible social ladder that becomes a prominent aspect of the setting as you start the story. So to get us into that world, it starts with a slave girl who comes to be named Xing'er, which means star, and Xing'er ends up participating in a Hunger Games-esque hunt where royals hunt slave girls. This sort of sets the brutality of the world, which is fantastic. I love it. It's crazy. It's like dramatic. It was fantastic. And Xing'er ends up being taken in by the Yuan household with our main male character, Yuan Yue, who's in charge of a really big and vast spy intelligence network, which is a whole other side of the story. And he ends up training Xing'er in martial arts, intelligence, scouting, all these skills that he needs to hone her into his personal weapon and spy. Xing'er ends up becoming a really amazing fighter, one because of Yuan Yu's training, and two because of her own backstory. When we start off with Xing'er in the series, she actually has amnesia, and a big part of the series follows Xing'er's journey of regaining her memories and also becoming entangled in the different princes and royal members that she meets. I'm gonna try and talk about this series without spoiling a lot of it. However, I am going to make some bigger remarks on the nature of the ending and how the story was concluded, because there is no way to sort of review the series without touching on the ending. The ending really changes the way everything happened within the story. Things I liked about the story: it was pretty high budget, there were amazing costumes, a really amazing cast, everyone fell in love with Shan Dou's amazing smile. I loved Li Qian, who plays Princess Chonar. That everything that the characters ended up doing was a result of the selfish actions of other characters and external parties. The very innocent, carefree, beautiful, original cast of characters that we meet in the first 10 episodes of the show end up being screwed over because of political alliances, assassinations, intelligence leakages, and betrayals above all else. This makes for a really exciting show because you're always on the edge of your seat and you never really know what's going to happen next. My problem with the what's going to happen next part is that we're kept in the dark as an audience until the point where someone decides to word vomit everything that's happened. So it doesn't matter how much or how little you pay attention to the events in the show, as long as you pay attention to that one guy at the end of each arc that tells you exactly what happened for the last 8 episodes, you're good to go. And this is one of the most challenging aspects of doing Chinese dramas. Chinese culture and a lot of Asian cultures pride their social interactions on what you don't say or what's implied. The things that are implied in Princess Agents within dialogue or plot development are vague and unclear, and the things that are fully said are too revealing. So in this sense, the director hasn't been able to find a good middle ground. And this is really annoying to viewers who are accustomed to ancient Chinese drama series, because nobody wants to be told everything at the end of the arc. If things are not revealing themselves through character interactions or personal character decisions, or even quick personal monologues, there's no point in really following the story. I could get someone to tell me what happened in the story through a rant. I have a big issue with how characters were developed throughout this series because the author is not kind to any of their characters. There is no redeeming moment where you truly see the characters' initial personality traits shine. Despite the fact that we all start out very naive and innocent in this series, none of those righteous sort of qualities are brought to light. Everyone just ends up being twisted and corrupt and vengeful and hateful. And nobody wants to watch a show that only has tragic characters. You need some redeeming light in people's lives for the show to continue. The series tries to make this redeeming light into Chu Chao, so she's basically the only character that remains unchanged from beginning to end, and if anything, it's her idealistic dreams and values that pushes her to her dead end. But the thing is, if your character doesn't change from start to end, your character hasn't really gone anywhere, and that also makes the main character very stagnant, which is also not very nice to watch, because it's boring. This is like turning into a character roast for Princess Agents, and I apologize to all of you guys who actually really like the characters. I do have a few characters that I really like, and I will talk about them. But first, my beef with Yu Wenyu. I don't know why so many people like Yu Wenyu. He hasn't done anything throughout the entire series. He started off as this like all-knowing prince who was above the corruption of the court, who had a lot of intelligence coming in due to his spy network, and who was a very capable man, despite the fact that he looked like a block of ice. But as he starts to fall in love with the main girl, he starts to lose his direction in the show. Shit is hitting the fan, and Yu Wenyu is nowhere to be seen. But Yu Wenyu is supposed to be one of the top main characters, which means he's also supposed to be one of the main influencing drives within the show. But Yu Wenyu doesn't do anything except equipped Xing'er with the skills she needs to act, and then he fades quickly into the background as a love-struck, romantic pretty boy. And yes, Lin Gyunshi is very good looking and so he's very noble. Yu Wenyu does not exist at any pivotal point of the show. When he was watching his best friend's family get slaughtered, he didn't do anything, not really. He just stood there. When the girl that he loves ran off with another guy, he didn't really do anything. His inability to act and his hesitance as a character makes him one of the weakest characters within the show. Now, on the other hand, his sort of foil within the show is Yan Xun, who is the Prince of Yanbei and who starts off being the most carefree, charming, wonderful, handsome character in the show and ends up being the most cruel, cold-hearted, bloodthirsty, amoral character by the end of the show. And I do understand that what he's doing is justified because he was screwed over by everyone he loved and everything he believed in. When you follow characters who are linked to unspeakably cruel actions towards other characters who they used to be friends with, you start to lose a little faith in the guy. And that's sort of what happens to me with the Prince of Yanbei. I start to lose more and more faith in him as the show goes on. A character that I actually did enjoy, which I sort of touched on before, was Chunar, the princess of Wei. I really liked her in the beginning because she was beautiful and graceful and adorable and kind-hearted, despite the fact that she was aware of all the corruption around in the court. All she wanted to do was live happily ever after with the man she loved. The cruel twist of fate is that she fell in love with the wrong guy, and everything that goes on from that falling in love with the wrong guy point just goes downhill. I expected to cry a lot in the show, but I actually didn't cry at the political moments. I cried the most for the female characters. Despite the fact that there are a lot of shortcomings with the series, all those strong characteristics and righteous characteristics I'm looking for in characters of a main cast, I found within the female characters. Their actions were a lot more unrestrained. I think it's because a lot of the guy characters, due to like their family influences, they couldn't do as much as they wanted to, but the female characters just threw safety out the window and acted towards their heart's content. And that in itself is really admirable. I feel like the author or the director is a really strong feminist because at times in the show, there's so much spotlight on the female characters. They literally don't need any man to save them, and they don't need any man to resolve their issues. And that is one of the coolest aspects of Princess Agents. Will there be a season 2 of Princess Agents? Most likely there is going to be a season 2 because the ending was sort of like awkward. Nobody told us that the ending was going to sort of end on an indecisive cliffhanger. Judging from some of the comments that I've read, I believe they haven't even fully finished filming all the parts of the first novel. And there are a few novels novels within the entire series of Chu Chao. So there is a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of answers that we haven't gotten yet. I would love to see Zenillia Zhao in more kick-ass outfits and more kick-ass battle scenes. I enjoyed the action choreography the most in the series, so good job stunt guys and action choreographers. So anyways, this was a really, really long video. For some of you guys who have made it to the end, I applaud you. For some of you guys who made it to the end of Princess Agents, I crazy big applaud you, because that was not easy, and that was at least 60 hours of your life that you'll never get back. If you guys have other comments or issues with Princess Agents, or you guys actually found some aspects of Princess Agents you guys liked, leave them in the comment section below. As always, drama-related content or animated-related content comes out every week. I usually don't do full Chinese drama series reviews. However, I just had so much steam I needed to blow off with Princess Agents. And if you guys feel like I have been a little bit harsh with the show, do leave a comment in the comment section below. It's good to have like different perspectives. This was just how emotional and angry and wound up the show made me. Until then, I hope you guys are well. I will talk to you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!
学不会去认输，也许只能背负，难懂人心残酷。